Wasn't San Luis voted like the
happiest
place, like the top 5 in the country?
Fifth, yeah, top 5.
Yeah.
Beaches, world-class wine, some of the best hiking in the world, and an overwhelming sense of community. On a recent episode of the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze, we realized that everyone in the room represents a different part of SLO County. So Team Swayze decided it would be a good idea to tout the microclimates of real estate that make this region of California sought after for its unparalleled quality of life. With the Cliff Notes version of Paradise, away from the crowds in California, here's your host, James Bueno.
You know, it's a podcast when we're talking about Bull Durham. JT, how are you?
I'm awesome. Are you kidding me? Get to hang out with you guys?
And I said JT first. Hal's here too. What's up, Hal? How are you
It's
doing?
because our rotations changed.
We did. We changed our rotation.
He's the lead-off hitter now.
He is? Oh, lead-off.
The boss should always come first.
That's true. All right. Well, maybe we'll reset it next time. Bobby, how are you?
I'm well.
You're to my far left.
I am.
And then Mr. Kingman, you're on camera now too.
Yay.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Lucky everybody.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking about San Luis Obispo County.
So we wanted to highlight the county, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I look around the table. We all live in a different part of the county.
Exactly.
So this will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
should
about
be.
why we like.
What each city has.
I have a fun exercise for this.
Oh, please. Let's do it.
How long you've lived here, and what's one thing you've heard a lot of people talk about that you've never experienced for yourself?
Ooh.
That's easy.
Then you go first, Mr. Swayze.
What was the question again?
How long you've lived here,
Yeah.
and the one thing that you hear a lot of people talk about, but you've never done it.
Oh, yeah, a lot of things I've never done. So 84 to today, what is that, about 40 years? That means I'm older than 40. Gosh, I have not done the light shows in like Paso and Cambria.
Which we can say
The holiday
names.
Or
Yeah.
So the sensorial thing you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. You know, I live in Paso. I haven't.
Yeah. But that's fairly recent, Hal. Let's talk. That's something older. That's fairly recent.
Give me a minute.
The light show.
What else I've missed out in life, basically, is what we're talking about.
basically.
I'm going to skip
Yeah.
to, let me think about what else I missed out.
I have one. So
What is it?
I've been here at the coast since 2008.
Okay.
I have never gone kayaking.
Oh.
And I lived in Cayucos and Morro Bay for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Here, I've never gone kayaking here.
You know the problem?
Yeah.
You don't have a.
I don't have a kayak?
Yeah.
I did have 2 actually at one time.
You had 2 kayaks and you still.
I did. They were a Costco buy. It was a thing
So
that
follow through
that never
also an issue for you.
apparently. Yeah. we can take that one for a long time.
James,
Yeah.
those of us over a certain weight limit have a tough time getting a kayak.
Buoyancy was an issue for sure. Yeah. So kayaking, I've been here a long time. It's probably been a year since I've touched the sand. I don't know. Remember last time I went to the ocean?
Never eaten at Jocko's.
Oh,
there it is.
man.
I've never eaten at
That
Jocko's.
was mine, Hal. You stole
man.
mine.
Oh.
Yeah, but I've only been here since 2006.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about Jocko's, and I haven't found a
Let's
reason to go
together.
down there.
You and I will go together.
We should.
Okay.
We should.
There we go. It's a date.
Okay. Jocko's
time.
Bobby, JT, what do you guys got?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, well, I've lived in South County since 2013. Grew up in North County and then was in the Bay for about 5 years. So a few of the things I haven't done. I've never done Avila Lighthouse. I feel like a lot of people do that.
Oh, the hike out there?
Is it? Oh, that's why.
Right.
If it's a hike, that explains it. There you go.
Well,
walk
I
out there?
haven't done that
Bad
either.
anymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, so you haven't taken the shuttle to the Avila Lighthouse.
No.
So what hospital were you born in San Luis
So
County?
I was actually born at home
Okay.
Yes.
from
Wow.
Good.
some
So that
original hippie.
that explains it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's
So-
going to get weird now.
You're the first person I've ever met, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate that when I'm talking to people that weren't even born when I came here to college. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm
right.
trying to think of what else.
So
yeah.
the
there's no
lighthouse.
such
You're not a
Oh, I've
lighthouser?
never been wine tasting here. Ever.
What?
I've never
Whoa.
gone on a wine tasting tour. I mean, I've been to a winery, but never
What's the
done tasting.
closest winery to Jocko's?
Oh, you're asking somebody that
person.
only knows North County.
Jocko's?
That's the reason why I haven't been
Well,
to
there's some
Jocko's.
on the way.
Letitia?
Letitia.
Edna Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edna Valley.
We'll find one. Okay, so we got that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we can drop, we can go with James into Shell Beach, kayak. Okay, good. And then JT, make it easy.
I was born in this county. Born in the old French hospital on Marsh Street in San Luis Obispo.
That is
Of
awesome.
course, I was born way before any of the rest of you. And you know what I've never done in this county? I've never been whale watching. I whale watch from my front deck, but never been out on a boat.
I've been whale watching.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to go to Shell Beach, rent some kayaks, look for whales, come back, stop at Letitia, and then
Drink
go to
some wine.
Jocko's.
There
we
you
drink
go.
wine before we go
Yeah.
out on a boat. There may be a problem with that.
Because I didn't want to put the light
Yeah,
show
I
in
mean
the middle of
that's
that.
just an afternoon too. There's not a lot of investment that we have, time investment that we have.
Yeah.
to do.
That's what's so cool.
We have
Yeah.
not all been to Harry's together, I bet.
You and I have
So-
been to Harry's
I-
together, Hal.
Oh, that one
Hal, who
time.
haven't
we
you been
have.
to Harry's?
Yeah.
With. No, we haven't done it together.
Together.
So what have
Together.
you done? I've never been to Harry's with this group.
There you go.
I've never been to Harry's.
So explain
What?
to the listeners what Harry's is and where is it.
Well, I've only been there once, so I don't remember what it is.
That's similar to my experience.
Are we going to talk about real estate?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Kingman.
Let's do it.
Kingman.
Kingman.
So we were gonna talk about the reason why people like to live in the areas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, where do you want to start on the south and work north?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah,
One of us in the room lives. Can we name the 5 cities, by the way?
I can.
Yeah,
I
go
can,
for it.
I can name two of them.
So it's Grover Beach, Oceano, Shell Beach, Pismo Beach.
No. Sorry.
No, he's right.
I'm
so
right.
far.
Let him
Shell
finish.
Beach is
Shell Beach is part of the 5
part
cities.
of Pismo. Doesn't
Yeah,
count.
yeah, but it was always included in the 5
Yeah,
cities.
so it's
Oh.
Shell Beach, Pismo Beach, Grover Beach, Pismo Beach, Oceano.
You just said Pismo Beach twice. Okay, that's 7 cities.
Oro Grande.
yeah,
I say it
Ro-
twice?
You missed a road.
See,
Grande
I-
first
AG.
go round.
Yeah.
I've heard differently. I've heard that Halcyon is included in the 5 cities.
No, that must be.
it's
Now
Shell.
we're up to 10 cities.
Shell, Pismo, AG,
Yeah.
Oceano,
Grover.
and Grover.
Napomo's not one of the 5
Napomo's
cities.
not
no,
a 5
no,
city.
Palma was never one
It's
of the
too
5.
far away
Yeah.
from the.
What do you think?
Okay, all right, Bobby, you're looking at me like
I
I'm
want
wrong.
to. Well, I want to Google it only because when I first moved here, I got corrected on this. You're wrong.
I was wrong. I'm wrong.
He's
I see it on the
You looked
screen.
it on the
You
Okay.
can't-
Yeah, it is.
I can't focus with you
it's
glaring
Halcyon.
at me.
No
there's only-
kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
Pismo,
just-
Pismo, Grover, AG, Oceano, and Halcyon. I thought it was Shell Beach.
You know what we're doing right now?
I'm
We are
Googling
losing
right now.
credibility as
Yeah.
a resource for the county.
So, Bobby, you live
I live in
one
Shell
of
Beach.
the 5 cities.
Yeah.
we do have low listenership in Halcyon, I think. So it's
Yeah.
okay if you're dissing them.
Nobody's
Shell Beach.
there.
What about living down in the south part of our county is really great for you guys.
Well, I love the weather. I grew up in Atascadero, so for me, getting to I could live in the fog every single day. I really like it. The food, I like the food down there.
And you love eating in the fog. It sounds
We've
like
got
too.
some good restaurants. We have
Yeah.
Ember down there. We love that. The little village of Shell Beach is really a special place. It feels very small town. You're on the 101. You can get everywhere pretty quick. You have the beach vibe. It's very laid back. It's got such a sweet energy to all the neighbors knowing each other and just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels very storybook to me. The kids
Wow.
can walk to school. It's great.
When I think of South County, I think of maybe one of the fastest growing areas in our county, and that's Napomo.
Mm-hmm.
I know none of us live in Napomo, but you handle some deals there.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and at one time they were talking about building 14,000 houses in Napomo. I think they've kind of backed off that big a goal, but it still is a growth area for us, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the outsider thinking of real estate, in Napomo, you get some acreage, you get cool weather, some wonderful golf courses down in Napomo. There's a steakhouse down there. I forget. I've never been.
Somebody
Are we going to get paid for this?
people
I
talk
know.
about it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So, and entry level wise, in terms of pricing, it's one of the more reasonable places to get a home, right in Napomo. So, a lot going on there.
So I know we're not talking about North County. We'll get there, but it looks like the farther you go away from the county seat, which is the city of San Luis Obispo, whether you go to Paso or to Napomo, the prices start to,
It's more affordable for sure.
yeah.
I tell you, I love, the Shell Beach, the village, has really come a long way.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, a lot of
used
nice
to be
restaurants and
funky.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, funky.
Yeah.
And I love the village of AG. And if I'm talking to people, why do I like AG? I love the village. The neighborhoods there are wonderful. I love East AG, as you get out there, because the climate's so nice. You're close to the ocean,
Yep.
and there's a lot of little canyons up there with tons of trees. And, if you have a little bit of property, but you're close to that town, which is just,
Yep.
it's a great little downtown. I love it. I love the chickens walking down there, and we used to have an office in the village. It was great.
And you do a lot of business in South County. Right?
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. And Arroyo Grande, boy, they have really caught up with SLO price-wise.
Quickly.
I mean, there's almost
It's
no
true.
differential anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got its own fans. I mean,
Yeah.
you have people who could choose from both, and they're choosing to go there because
Yep.
of the lifestyle. It's,
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So as we're moving up the 101, we move from Pismo and Shell Beach, and we go past the off ramp to Avila. Is Avila a market unto itself, or do you kind of lump in Avila with the city of St. Louis?
I'd put it on its own. Yeah.
It's specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's two parts to Avila, right? So you got downtown, the beach.
Yeah.
Right. So close to the water, great weather. You know, my kids had junior lifeguards down there. You can go kayaking, James, if you ever try.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
The pier and the little town is adorable. And it just, on the weekends, it goes crazy with tourists in the
Right.
summer.
Yeah.
And then during the week,
Busy.
there's like 6 people there.
It's so nice.
Right.
The mornings there
Yeah.
are like magical.
And then the harbor is phenomenal. And then you got the whole area where we had, you know, a company and had an office for a while before COVID. And that's the gated area, which is just a mixture of beautiful places.
Yeah.
1,000 acres, 600 houses.
What do you call that area?
San Luis Bay Estates.
Okay, so that's adjacent to the San Luis Village there?
Yep.
Yeah, I had an office there for 10 years.
Oh, that's right. You were there.
And I thought that area had the best weather of the county.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
I
love the
would
weather
agree,
there.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the little Woodstone Market there, the
Yep.
Avila Bay Club is
Yep.
nice. The bike path, you know, along the creek, phenomenal.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, that's where the kids learn to ride. Yep.
And then so many different choices within the gated area and then the beach. Yeah.
And they do a little farmers market, don't they? Like the whole
Downtown out- yep.
super
Yeah.
fun on
Yep.
Friday
Yeah.
nights.
You know what? I've always, when I was working there, I always thought, what would it be like? What would my lifestyle be like if I owned my own golf cart and got to drive down into the city, you know, the beach area of Avila and go to dinner? And I would think that would be an awesome lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be okay if I just give one negative thing about it's just a personal thing about Avila for
Go
me?
for it.
It freaks me out a little bit that there's only one way in and one way out.
I was thinking the same thing.
A little bit.
Really?
You know, it's a
Okay.
great place to be.
Right.
I don't know if I'd want to live there because of that. I don't know.
Well, people that
There's
live
two
there
ways.
in 2023 experienced that
Yeah.
fear that you have
Yeah.
when they
There's-
were
it's
locked out there.
one way
for
in.
a week.
Two ways. You can drive or you can get in a boat.
Yeah, that's true.
I was at an advisory committee meeting once, and they were talking about how to handle the flow of traffic down that road, concerts and that sort of thing, because it gets pretty, it can be pretty backed up.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know what? What if you had a little boat that went from, or like a trolley? What are the kind of boats where you go across
Ferry.
a ferry from like the Pismo Pier to the Avila Pier?
Yeah.
There you go.
I go,
See, I told
how
you,
cool would that
2 ways
be?
out.
I like that idea.
Wait a minute. That was the last time I got invited to an advisory committee.
Might be the last time you get invited to a podcast.
Wow.
Okay.
Who's the boss here, JT?
So let's move north and how you. What about San Luis that you just love?
Downtown is great. I've got a lot of social connections here, which is nice.
Yes, you do.
Place to mountain bike and hike, and I like the weather here. Like I love Cayucas, but it's cold, right? For me, right?
you.
I love the ocean. I love the
Yeah.
downtown. I love Avila, you know, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But you know, I'm still busy working. If I didn't have a career and a business that I love doing, I would spend more time visiting those little towns and the beaches.
Well, so SLO is the hub, right? I mean, you can pretty much get anywhere that we're talking about within 30 minutes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, so,
and
it's
so
the
like
central.
right, and so like if I want to go watch an event, sports, or you know, go to the PAC at Cal Poly, that's awesome.
Yep.
Go downtown, catch a movie. You know, I mean, I just love the energy of the town.
There's a lot more shopping now. I'll just say.
Shopping, yeah,
It is our county seat.
probably just a little bit more energy. You know,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you know, if you're from out of the area, a lot of the medical is here, but we also have Templeton and AG. But you know, if you want to be close to major medical centers, we've got a lot of that.
Yeah.
Why do you look at me when you say medical?
I was looking at everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think being the oldest person in the room, I love being around the young people that Cal Poly brings to the community. Think of what Cal Poly does to the economy of
Right.
not only the
Sure.
county but the city.
Kids get a bad rap, but some of us were those kids
Yeah.
at one point anyway. Yeah.
Now it is true though how if you look at the real estate market in the county, that aside from maybe a couple of the beach communities, this is the priciest of the cities,
Yep,
right?
it is. I mean, and there's a lot to offer real estate wise, and we haven't talked as much about that. Probably should, but I mean, Avila has different little communities and lots of choices. San Luis does houses, condos, a little bit some acreage properties, that sort of thing. So there's a lot going on here for sure. Yeah.
Wasn't San Luis voted like the
Happiest.
happiest place, like the top 5 in the country? at
Fifth, yeah, top 5.
Yeah.
No, it was best weather. I'm sorry, not the happiest. Best weather. One person's opinion, right? Some study. The
San Diego?
Canary Islands.
Canary Islands.
Go figure.
Wow.
I know somebody went there. They said it's great. So anyway, that's outside the county, so I'm going to step back from that conversation.
You kind of took a left there. That's okay.
I take a lot of those. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going north then.
Santa Margarita.
You guys live in the North County.
We do.
You and Jeff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeff loves it.
James doesn't.
James loves it. What are you talking about?
I do. It's okay. I loved Shell Beach. I lived in Shell Beach, and I just love the climate. I'm a polar bear. I like the cooler weather. I came from the valley, and it was hot. It was cold.
Yeah.
I hate extreme weather.
Yeah.
So Shell Beach is like a little bit more level for me. I like the area, and it's kind of what we talked about earlier. So
Yeah.
But it
I'm
is
just
more
more of a
affordable than Shell Beach.
It
right?
is. Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course.
So that's a
course.
real positive about,
That's a positive.
about North
yeah.
County.
I have a much bigger place than I did in Shell Beach.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be back there.
My kids go to school down in San Luis Obispo, and I also work in San Luis Obispo, but we live in Paso Robles. And whenever I'm talking with friends of theirs' parents, they're like, oh, and then they come over because we have a pool and you can go swimming in the summertime in Paso Robles, and not always guaranteed in San Luis Obispo. In fact, often not guaranteed that you can go swimming in San Luis Obispo. So they'll come up and on a hot day and jump in the pool, and they're like, man, you get so much more for your money in Paso Robles than you do in San Luis Obispo.
Yep.
So affordability was a big driver for us to move up there, because we lived in downtown SLO for 10 years in a rental. And I loved the fact that you could walk to wherever we needed to go. If we wanted to go hike Cerro San Luis or Madonna Mountain or whatever you want to call it, or go down to the farmer's market, we walked both places. It was great. That's what I miss about that. Paso Robles is pretty nice, especially in the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
It has improved greatly. I remember when I moved here, my boss said to me, she goes, go to all the different communities around the area and see if you like any of them or if you'd like to live here. I drove through Paso Robles and I couldn't have got out of that town quicker. And now I live there and I love it. So
It's come a long way
Yeah.
quickly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
speaking
It's
of
a great
food, they
place,
literally the best restaurants I think on the Central Coast are
Oh.
all in that little
Yeah, the level has been raised in Paso
big
with
time.
restaurants.
It's a total
for sure.
destination.
It's
now.
funny. I did a similar thing when I got in real estate, and I went up to an office in Paso, and I don't know if my car had air conditioning or not, but I got out of the car, and I'm a sweater, right? So I'm just going, oh no, I can't be talking to people so I didn't even go in an office. I think I came back down.
Turned around.
Right? So now I like it that I'm old. Right? Yeah, for sure.
I think Jeff makes a great point as to the evolution of Paso Robles and the entire North County. I mean, I remember when Templeton was 1,500 people, and what is it, 10,000 now, something like that, 8,000.
it's very close to that, yeah.
But
Wow.
That's it.
That?
I feel like it's more.
I think of Paso and the evolution of Paso itself. When I was in high school, Paso was 7,000 people. But, from where I was coming from, that was the big city.
Right?
And now you look at it, and what are we at, 30,000 or so in Paso today?
30,000.
Yeah.
And that's, weekends that turns into 50, 60,000.
Yeah, I'm going to make a prediction that there will be a time. I may not see it in my lifetime, but there will be a time when the population of Paso is greater than the population of San Luis.
Well, Templeton's 7965 as of 2020.
Yeah. But I mean, that wine industry, and you look at
Right.
Napa, and people come there, and the restaurants, and it's great. I mean, what's interesting about the North, I just like small downtowns, right? So I love Santa Margarita. I love Templeton, right? The downtowns.
Yeah.
And then you're surrounded again by large properties on acreage and rolling hills and oak trees. And Paso.
Yeah.
I mean, it has changed so much.
No love for a Tascadero, you guys.
Well, no, the Tascadero wasn't so
we're getting
good,
there.
but a Tascadero has upped the game too. I mean,
Big
there's
time.
some nice,
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
nice
outdoor
restaurants there.
seating.
That, yeah.
Yep. They
Ruby
come,
Cellars
yeah.
has a little tasting. That little corridor is, and I love. I mean, it's got the bones, right, where Traffic Way comes in El Camino. I mean, it's got the framework to be it, but it's just
You know what I like about a Tascadero is the historic homes, all those colony
Right,
homes.
colony homes, sure.
Oh my gosh! I mean, they're just they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
We
have some
we can say this about every community right now. I mean, this time of year, every year after the rains, our county looks like Ireland. The green
Oh, yeah.
hills, and to drive through a Tascadero with the oak trees and the green hills. To me, it's just beautiful terrain.
Yep.
I love it.
So JT, population of Paso was 31,000.
Wow.
What's the population? Anybody want to guess? Don't look at the screen. What's the population of SLO?
47.
I would have said 45, but
I would have said 42 because that's what it says on the sign
Yeah.
by KSBY.
47,107.
But to make my point about population growth, I think the population of San Luis Obispo, again, back when I was in high school, was probably nearing 40,000, and Paso was 7. The growth in
Sure.
San Luis the last 50 years, and you fast forward another 50, and I'm going to predict Paso will be
Well,
bigger.
there's still so many places to go in Paso.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you look at all those,
Yeah.
I mean, so much beautiful open space. Yeah.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
so much potential.
Room for housing, right?
Room to grow.
Should we move to the ocean?
Yes.
Let's go north.
Up the
Yep.
coast.
Yeah.
So when you think about the North Coast, what communities do you think about?
Morro Bay.
Cambria, Cayuga.
Los Osos.
Los Osos. 4 communities?
Yep.
I go to Los Osos. I live in Cayucas, for the record. I go to Los Osos a few times a year, especially in the summertime, on Saturday afternoons, to go to a concert.
Oh, yeah.
An outdoor concert. And over the last 10 years of doing that, I see, like, it sounds like, it feels like the demographics of Los Osos are shifting. There are a lot of younger families that, affordability wise, can't afford San Luis, but they can't afford Los Osos. And
Yeah.
I see that community changing a bunch.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, my kids would live in. They would, if they had a choice, they'd probably live in Los Osos.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of outdoor activity. You
Right.
got the
Yeah.
Fontana de Oro State Park,
Right.
dunes. I mean, they're beautiful out there.
And potential, it's like if you want to start something to get in somewhere cheaper, but starting businesses, all that, people are choosing to go there because it's,
Yeah. I have a lot of clients who leave San Luis because it's got a little hustly bustly for them, and Los Osos is sleepier. Can I tell my favorite restaurant in Los Osos, or is that gonna? And we're going to breach anything?
No, we've said restaurants already.
This
Okay.
is your
Oh,
business.
sorry.
Yeah, you can
That
do whatever. Yeah.
should have gone through the
I don't
rules.
care what you
I
say.
mean, there's a lot of good restaurants in that, but now I forgot the name of it. La Casita.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Mexican
Yeah.
food.
Casitas
That's
good.
good.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
salsa.
I don't know the salt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, can you
Yeah.
move one more closer to me? Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
so we love Los Osos, and
Yep.
we move north. We come into Morro Bay.
Morro Bay.
When you think
yeah.
of Morro Bay, what do you think?
The Rock.
The Rock.
3 stacks and a rock.
Yeah, 3
Yep.
stacks in a rock. Have you ever been sitting along the Embarcadero, having a meal or a drink, and you look at the bay and you go, this could be, on the East Coast. We could be in
Yeah.
Maine right now.
Right.
I mean, it just feels so cool. Or Oregon.
That was the first place I moved to go to Cal Poly. I didn't realize the school was that far apart. It was far away, right? And it felt like, well, I mean, when you're a kid,
Yeah.
and you're driving,
When
you got
you're
to
trying to
park
go to
and something,
parties, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Lasted about 4 months. Yeah, it feels very northern to me because I'd spent a year before in San Diego before I ended up here.
And you think about affordability. A beach town that's affordable.
Yeah.
Is that the most affordable beach community we have in the county?
Well, Los Osos, I think would be.
Yeah, Morro Bay, Los Osos. Los Osos has also come way up.
Yeah.
There used to be a big differential,
Yeah.
and not so much.
They're catching up.
A lot of my funnest friends live in Morro Bay. Yeah, and they're glad the Siren's there.
Yeah,
That's
Siren's a
music.
good spot.
But it's a great place. It's not going to grow much, right? There's nowhere to build
Nowhere to
anything,
go.
right? So you're looking at it. It's not going to get real busy on the streets. Yeah.
Well, as you move up the coast, just another 4 miles, you hit Cayucas.
Yeah. Full disclosure,
Yeah, I
you
love
live there.
Cayucas.
You live
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I love about
Posting your
Cayucas?
address, yeah.
You know what I love about Cayucas? To me, it's the last unspoiled beach town in California.
I love Cayucas.
And you think about the beach itself. That beach runs 6 miles. You can walk on the beach from the rock to the pier in Cayucas.
Right.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And just, it's a sleepy little town. I mean, we went out to dinner the other night, and we're coming home about 7:30, and they'd already rolled up the sidewalks at 7:30.
Right, right.
Love it.
I mean, it's just a sleepy little old beach town.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I love how wide the street is.
Yeah.
The main drag.
Yeah.
And the storefronts. It's
Perfect
awesome.
for parades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illegal U-turns every day there.
Yes. They're not illegal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my mind.
So, JT, what would you say the biggest difference is between Pismo, Shell Beach, and Morro Bay, Cayucas?
Weather-wise, they're all pretty similar. I mean, you can't live by the ocean and not deal with the fog. So now Bobby would love all those foggy communities. I think we get a little less fog in Cayucas than in Morro Bay. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, you do.
I
think
can
you're
be
right.
driving up there and I come around the corner and we got some sunshine. I just went through some fog in Morro Bay.
It's not easy to get there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
To go to Cayucas, every time I go, I grew up going there. My grandparents lived there for years, and I so took it for granted. But every time it's like, you have to go there on purpose. You don't go through there necessarily on like a typical trip. Like it's a destination.
A lot of second homes. And so, and a lot of them are from where you grew up over in the valley. Are they residents or tourists or maybe a hybrid? So I don't think we have the hotels that Pismo has. So I don't think we have the weekend tourists.
Yeah.
We have the people that are coming over to their second homes with their families for the weekend.
Right.
The big difference is the 4th of July parade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4th of July in Pismo is dangerous, and in Cayucas, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
the-
it's just sleepy, and the
polar
it's
bear
just-
dip on New Year.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
For me, so I've lived in Cayucas, Morro Bay, and Shell Beach. The only way I can describe it, sorry, JT, it's slow.
It is slow.
It's just
Oh, it's quiet.
relaxed. Everything shuts down early. Everybody drives slow. Everybody walks slow.
That doesn't mean he's slow.
Oh no!
You apologize.
when your next birthday starts with a 7, you
Yeah.
like slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I enjoyed the going out and
Oh,
doing stuff, and
I'm-
a little busier in Shell Beach. I enjoyed that.
I going to Schooners and that little tiny saloon and looking at the ocean and having something to eat and drink is phenomenal. You get the best oranges on the planet. The best avocados come from there. It's a cool spot. Yeah.
And then we go up to Cambria.
Yeah.
I mean,
Harmony, Cambria.
Cambria. That's
Oh.
we
The
could have
debate.
that argument that we probably
Well,
won't
if you're
solve.
Hal,
What?
yeah.
Well, if
Say
you're
it
Hal,
first,
it's
Hal.
Cambria.
Looks like-
Yeah,
What did I call
Cambria.
He's
it?
so committed to this.
It's
Cambria.
Cambria.
Calm.
What is it?
Cambria.
That's what I call it.
No, you said Cambria or
I didn't say
Cambria.
Cambria.
Cambria. You said
Cambria or Cambria.
Now I don't even know.
My in-laws live in Cambria, and so I'm up there fairly often. It's a great community. It's similar to Cayucas in that there's a lot of second homes and people coming over to get out of the warmer weather into the cooler weather. And
Yeah.
And then you go north, and you're by San Simeon, and you're Ragged Point. I mean, it's
Oh,
that.
beautiful.
Sure.
I mean, that coastline is unbelievable. When I was a college kid, I used to windsurf and,
And-
I'd drive up that drive, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
the
great.
bluff
it's
just
kind of-
past
it feels
Cayucas, all
almost
that.
like a mountain town mixed with having the beach,
Yes.
which is just what a combo.
Yeah.
Monterey light. Monterey
Light.
without the prices.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
a good-
And to have Hearst Castle as a draw to our community.
Yeah.
How fantastic is that?
Forget about that.
So
Yeah.
so if anybody's listening to this podcast, they probably figured out that we love our county.
Yes, we do.
love it.
And we
Oh.
love doing business.
And
Small
there's
town.
something for everybody in the county, right? Because of the different climates that we have, the different things that all the different towns have to offer. You have beach, you mentioned it's like a mountain town when you go up to Big Sur, but it's right next to the beach, so
Unreal.
that's a bit strange. All these great things, some affordability sprinkled in some places,
Some
right?
places. Actually, Hal, the last time I went to Schooners, I saw you walking out. Do you remember that?
I was walking out.
Probably not.
That's good. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to admit this, but and I'll probably lose some clients over this, but I realize I've never been up to Hearst Castle.
Oh, see, that's one of the things
That should. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've
What do you
never been
mean?
to Jocko's,
You've never been there?
but-
Like,
Yeah, you came up with Jocko first.
I've driven up a little bit. I wanted to pet the zebras and stuff, but I've never actually gone to the castle. I've never been to one of the fundraisers. I've never,
Interesting story. My
I'm
daughter.
gonna write it down now.
Yeah.
My daughter, when she was a baby, we got invited through a friend of a friend of a friend. They were a volunteer at the Hearst Castle, and they got to invite friends to go swim in the Neptune pool.
Wow.
And my daughter was 6 months old, and it was the first pool
Oh my God.
that she'd ever swam in. And we had pictures, and
Wow.
she was too young to remember the coolness of the of that whole thing. And it was like one of those weird late summer nights where the monsoon influence was coming up, so it
geez.
felt like we were in the tropics and we were swimming in this pool
Yeah.
that nobody's allowed to even sniff. I mean, it was quite an experience for us.
Wow.
She's like, oh,
That's about as cool.
the pictures
as it
look
gets.
cool.
Yeah.
So we probably ought to wind up this episode of our podcast. Can I make a comment about our last week's episode?
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, we get feedback, and,
Oh,
and
right.
we're really glad when we get feedback, and some of it's really positive, and some of it's critical, and
Right.
and we love both, by the way, because critical feedback helps us get better. And we received some critical feedback on my talk about leverage
Right.
last week, and I probably didn't pay leverage the what a complicated issue it is.
Sure.
Probably didn't. I oversimplified it and used some examples that I thought of fairly quickly, and if I'd have thought them through, I might have used different examples. And so our feedback helped us get better, and just want to acknowledge the people who give us feedback and
Yeah.
thank them, and that's how we get better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We started out as just a bunch of folks sitting around talking about one of
Right.
our favorite subjects, and all of a sudden other people are listening in now, and
Yeah.
and so anyway,
Yeah, this was from somebody out of the Northwest somehow that listens to this, but they made a good
Yeah.
point. And the point of the feedback was, hey, don't use your house as a piggy bank irresponsibly. That has happened. And I think
Yeah.
what John's doing, John's got 40 years in financial services. It can cut both ways, but in real estate, it really helps you benefit if you do it properly.
Right.
Well, and we've talked on this episode about why we love our county so much. And one of the reasons I love it is it has allowed me to not be very smart and make money in real estate, because this market has made us all look good since the last 70
Yes.
years.
Yep.
I mean, with a few years as an exception, anybody who got involved in real estate in this county has generated some wealth. Thank the Lord I was born in this county. Thank you
Because
to
if
my
we didn't
parents.
have any leverage, we would all be in a much different place.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So use it wisely,
So-
but it's a great tool if you use it properly.
So I just want to thank the person that was
Yeah.
giving me some critical feedback. It helped me get better.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Absolutely. We welcome it and we appreciate it, and we do the best that we can. We have tons of experience. Hal and JT, you guys have been doing this forever, and we, with the addition of Bobby, we're doing the best we can with the knowledge that we've got. So
Context is always important,
Context.
right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll keep
Good.
trying.
we'll
gonna
keep
trying.
giving it a go.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Are we ending today?
No, I want to go get a steak and go to the Hearst Castle.
Yeah. Go wine tasting.
That
Go.
steak might get cold by the time you get to
Yeah. Come on.
We love our community. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate you, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
I want to move to this county now.
Thank you for listening to the Hal Swayze podcast. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. Check for it in your feed for the latest information on the San Luis Obispo County market. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Swayze podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on halswayze.com, where you can find current listings and other real estate tips. halswayze.com, that's HALSWEASEY.com. I am James Bueno, Director of Marketing for the Hal Swayze Group. If you're looking for anything real estate, give us a call, 805-781-3750.
San Luis Obispo Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze is also on YouTube. Now you can see people talk about real estate in one of California's hottest markets. Get the latest episode on the podcast page at teamswayze.com or subscribe to Hal Swayze on YouTube. Hal Swayze is a licensed California real estate broker. DRE number 011119111. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Swayze podcast is a production of AGM Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.